Hi everyone, it's Todd Nauck again with a new three-part video series for a Spider-Man commission. I've been known to do a lot of Spider-Man work in the past on almost every Spider-Man title, but Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man would probably be the ones I've done the most work on, and probably the most popular Spider-Man story I've done is the Spider-Man Barack Obama story that came out back in January of 2009. So you just may have that one in your collection because that was a very, very popular comic. So I'm going to answer some of your questions and give you some of the tips of how I approach my art here. So this video just covers the penciling stage, and I'm just going right into the pencils here, starting off with the light sketch, and then I'm going to keep tightening up like I have in the previous videos. Drew Down 2091 posts, when you do one of these drawings, do you do preliminary sketches to help you figure out the pose? Oftentimes I do a smaller preliminary sketch, or a thumbnail sketch as they often call them. Just a way to make sure I've worked out the pose that's in my head down on the paper. It kind of gives me an idea of how that's going to translate as I go to the fuller sized sketch. Now sometimes I'll draw what's directly in my head, just go for it right onto the paper and make changes on the fly. And that's kind of what I'm doing here in this shot of Spider-Man. Is I saw the shot in my head, and I'm just going for it. And those are the two different approaches that I tend to work with. But more often than not, I will do a smaller preliminary sketch for sure. Thanks for the question, Drew. Matter85 asks, hey Todd, what mechanical pencil are you using? I'm having a hard time finding one for sketching. In the past videos you've seen me post, I've been using a Pentel Twist Erase mechanical pencil I've had for years with a 0.5 sized lead, HB softness. But since then, I have purchased a new mechanical pencil that I'm using here on the Spider-Man sketch. It's a 0.3 lead, so I was looking for one that gives me a more finer point and for tighter detail, smaller details. So I got a 0.3 lead. It's a let's see if I'm pronouncing this right, a Kuratoga mechanical pencil that I got from jetpens.com, and really happy with it. I use it all the time. I'll even take it with me for conventions as well. I just like that I can get even better, tinier details with a lead that small. So those are the types of mechanical pencils I like using, and if you swing by jetpens.com, I think you'll find some pretty cool ones there. So hopefully that helps you out there, Matter85. Skate Mike posts a fairly long question here, but let's give it a run through. Skate Mike says, I normally draw with an HB lead or softer, but I understand that it's comic book industry. It's pretty standard for artists to use H2 leads or harder. So I'm wondering about their work process and how they get their finished pencil lines so clean and detailed without sketching marks or construction lines. Are they just incredibly good, or is there a trick I'm missing? Well, yes, they are incredibly good. If any of us break into the industry, you got to have the skills to deliver. So yeah, they're going to be the tops when it comes to penciling. But are you missing a trick? Not really. You can use an HB lead. I use an HB lead. I've been drawing comics for years, and I draw with an HB lead. I used to, when I first broke in, I used a harder lead. I just didn't like it. It was just didn't give me the flow to the page that I liked, putting the pencil to paper. So feel free to use the HB lead. I wouldn't go much softer than that because that can really jack with an inker. As they try to ink over that soft lead, it can really get smeary and smudgy when they try to do erases to erase the pencil lines. So I would encourage nothing harder than or softer than an HB, but industry standard, it's really, I see tons of different artists that use tons of different approaches to it. So it's not every artist uses H2 or harder. Like myself, HB is the way to go. And underdrawing and construction lines, sketching marks, that's fine. Let those be there. That's energy on the page, and that can really be beneficial for the inkers. So unless you're doing enhanced pencils, which I've done in the past, where you go straight to the colors and skip the inking stage, this is like I did in the Spider-Man Obama story, then yeah, there's a different work process that I approach there. because I know we're skipping the inking stage, and I don't want those construction lines showing through. Um, I only did maybe a dozen enhanced pencil comics. I do prefer to do my own inks. But when I do enhanced pencils, what I do is I do a tight sketch of the page, figure out the perspective, get the figure work all pretty well worked out in like a 5x7 layout, scan that in, blow that up to 10x15, print that out, and then take that printout and my artboard to the Bristol board to my light box, and then I have all my underdrawing showing up on the printout, and then I can do the finished drawing on top of on my actual Bristol board using the printout as my guideline, my construction lines, so that I don't have all the underdrawing showing through in the finished artwork, so it looks all crisp and clean. And that might be what you're seeing, but if you're going to be doing your own inks, don't even worry about it, man. Just go for it and have fun with it. Hopefully that answers your question. That's could be a pretty involved answer there, so hopefully I gave you enough information that you can work with there, and hopefully taking a lot of the pressure off of how to approach your pencils. And like I said, I'm an HB guy, so feel free to keep using HB if that works best for you. Thanks so much for the question, Skate Mike. Shen Matnarudin, hopefully I pronounced that last name correctly, posted, could you please upload this video in real time? It would be nice to watch it in real time instead of sped up. Let's see, I think that was of the one of the Harley Quinn pieces. Unfortunately, Shanna, sometimes the videos are a little too big in file size, so it take too long in the time frame that I need to speed them up. But this Spider-Man one here is barely sped up at all. From the 100, I sped it up to 150, so it's really pretty close to real time. So hopefully this one suits your needs and desires there. So thanks so much for asking about that. And as I'm working on the pencils here, I've picked a light source from the kind of upper right for the most part. So I'm putting the black parts of the costume in there to kind of help give them some more depth. And then the spider webs. A lot of people ask, is that the most difficult part about drawing Spider-Man? Is it the most time-consuming? And it was difficult at first. It was a challenge to learn and figure out at first. But once I got a feel for it, it became pretty easy and a lot of fun. And it's a great way to kind of show the volume and just the mass of Spider-Man when done correctly. You don't want to just draw them straight across. You want like a net. You want to make sure it goes with the contours of his body to really accentuate the musculature. So it's just coming in with those for the most part vertical lines, depending on the angle that he's drawn at, and then coming back in with the once I get those lines figured out, I come back in with the little horizontal webs, and always keeping in mind the direction of the body part that it has the webbing, whether it be his arms, his mask, his chest, his abdomen, the belt, or the boots, which would not be shown in this shot here. But keeping in mind which direction they're going, so the webs would follow suit. So one of the more challenging parts, but definitely now once you get a feel for it, it can be one of the most fun. It's one of the most fun parts for me. So almost done with this pencil stage here. Thanks so much for tuning in, and thanks for subscribing. Unfortunately, I don't have a scan of the shot here. I scanned it in, but I've since lost the file. So unfortunately, I can't end with a scan of the pencil or of the ink stages, but the third stage will have a scan of the finished product at the end. So thanks a lot. Stay tuned for part 2 coming up real soon.